Hello and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for tuning into the show today. So with it being kind of the spooky holiday season, I thought I would talk about something a little spooky. And tonight's topic is going to be about talking to the dead, but I have a very specific angle on this that comes with some warnings and some cautions if you decide to do it. So in the general sense of the word, it's okay to talk to dead, like dead, invisible, ghosty people who you can't see. I mean, you can see them, but they're invisible. Anyway, those invisible people, I know that, and so I don't have a lot of dead people that come visit me, thank God. But one that comes fairly regular is my late husband, Wayne, and he will just show up and give me words of encouragement. And I find that very healing and very soothing. And so situations like that are cool. Or like the house that I live in now, there were two ghosts. The house that I lived in a few years ago, there was Tom that lived in the backyard, and they were just there and they didn't create any problems. The same thing has to do with doing like a ghost hunt, where you might interact with a spirit, you might talk to a spirit, there might be some kind of connection or contact with that dead invisible person that is in the location. And so having casual contact with a ghost is perfectly okay. And you hear me on this show where I say, I don't talk to dead people, and I intentionally don't talk to dead people, and it's not because I'm putting some warning on it, or I'm going to say this, or I'm afraid to talk to them, but for me to communicate with a dead person on your behalf in this venue, I would have to ask the dead person to come and sit in the chair next to me or come to me, and then they would be in my house. And I am kind of a scared cat, even though like I don't have an issue being around ghosts, but you make a weird noise and it scares the crap out of me. So I just assume that all the dead invisible people not come to my house. So that's why I have that rule. It's not because of something more insidious that might happen, which is what we're going to be talking about. So one of the ways that has gotten a very bad rap about communicating with the other side is the Ouija board. And I think you're all familiar with the Ouija board. It's a board that has letters and numbers on it, and you have the plantain, and you or a group of people put your fingers on the plantain and you ask a question and it will spell out the answer. So, and actually, I mean, I've played with a Ouija board and it is kind of weird how that thing just kind of moves of its own accord. And really, I've only had, I'm going to say, one experience, like one period of time where I interacted with a Ouija board. And it's when I was in college. I went to school at Oswego State in New York. And it turned out, of course, after I moved in and had a lease, that, and thank God roommates, that the house I moved into had been the town funeral parlor. Yay me. And you wonder why I don't want ghosts in my house, because I already like been around them and they don't need to come here. Anyway, so it was about a week before school was out. And so myself and my roommate, who was pretty spiritual, and her boyfriend get this bright idea to like get a Ouija board, and we borrowed one, and bring it in the house and communicate with this ghost, because we all knew we were all moving out. So it really didn't matter if we like activated some activity. And we were very respectful, and the three of us would be on it, the planchette, excuse me, and we would ask, can Val play? Yes. Can Patrick play? Yes. Can Rita play? No. And we did this on several different occasions, and every time they asked if I could play, the only thing that came up was no. So, I mean, finally, I just left one night and let them do what they were going to do. And they got a lot of information, but apparently it didn't like me. And I was okay with that because I already was creeped out by that house, and I was so glad I was moving out. But one of the things that can happen with using something like a Ouija board, or the other one that I'm going to cite also, is doing something like automatic writing. And I have another one, but I'll start with these two. Is that there are some people that utilize it to receive messages from the other side. And so they are asking this spirit to provide them with information. They'll ask a question, and a lot of times it's personal information. It's not, oh, are you a ghost, and what are you doing here? But it's more tied to them. And that's when it can become bad, and where the issues come up, because sometimes people can become dependent on the messages that they receive. And often the information like will start out good, and you ask a question and it gives you this insightful piece of information, and it seems like it's so high vibrating and blah, 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 blah. But what I have found, and clients that I have worked with, become dependent on it, if that's the best word I can use. But after a period of time, the messages change from being very high vibrating and loving and filled with light and really good to becoming something else much more dark. And when that happens, it's like you have opened the door for this spirit to attach to you. Now, one of the things that I found, and we've kind of talked about this on other shows, but in different ways, so when you go and you use a Ouija board to like scope out some spirits in a house, it's like your energy's good, you're just there, and you're in a high vibrating place. Your personal energy is in a high place. But the people that tend to use like a Ouija board or automatic writing to get insights will often do it when their energy is vibrating very low, and where they're kind of desperate, and they're looking to the spirit to give them some guidance and insight as to what's going on. And when you use tools like that, you might say, Archangel Michael, I want you to come to me. But it could be some, Fred the janitor. I love Fred the janitor. Fred the janitor that says, oh yeah, I'm Archangel Michael. Or it could be like Michael the shoeshine boy. You don't know. You don't know. And if they're a negative spirit, you know what they're going to do? They're going to lie. Lie, 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 lie. And so, and again, when you do this, it opens the door for the spirit to attach to you. And you don't know who's showing up. You can make a lot of guesses, and you can say, oh, it's Archangel Michael. But do you really know? I mean, if you're using a Ouija board, which means you probably don't have a lot of psychic abilities or don't trust your psychic abilities, do you really know? Okay, and so not meaning to diss this person at all, but there was a very well-known New Age author, Doreen Virtue. I mean, she was the angel lady, and I remember during the height of her thing that I would always put out cautions about her and her work. So Doreen would sit there and say, if there's something going on, if you're in a bad space, call in your angels, have them come around you and they'll help lift you up. But doing that is right up there with using the Ouija board or doing automatic writing. Because if your energy is low, if your vibration is really low, yeah, what shows up might be a slightly higher vibration than where you are now, but they might not be the same vibration you are when you're in a good place. So she would tell people to do that. And I'm like, don't do it, because you don't know what you're opening the door up to. And I think it's interesting because, and I don't know when she transitioned, but she went from being this very new agey, had cool angel cards, all this stuff, to being kind of a hardcore Christian and disavowing herself from all of this work. And I can only speculate that people ended up having attached entity issues, or maybe she ended up with an attached entity issue because she too was just opening herself up to a random spirit when her energy was low. So the key to all of this, it's not about the tools you use. It's not about what you're doing to connect with spirit. It is about where your energy is. If you're in a bad place, if you're looking for personal guidance, if you have this heavy desire and this attachment to, oh, you're going to give me the answers and insights that I need, then don't do it. Just don't do it, because it opens the door and it creates connections to something you just don't want. So that's my thing for this week. It's like using it for fun, using it for informational purposes, that's great. But using it to answer your personal insights and connect to a higher source, don't do it. Don't do it. All right, I'm like not muted, man. There's all kinds of comments here. Okay, so that's it for this week, and I think we have one more week before Halloween, so I'm gonna have to come up with something else spooky to talk about next week. And if you would like more information about attached entities and that whole thing, there's my book, Dark Angels: An Insider's Guide to Ghost Spirits and Attached Entities. You can get it on my website, which is, wait, let me push the button, soulhealer.com. That's soulhealer.com, and the books all come autographed. I mean, it's available on Amazon. It's available like in a Kindle and those other formats if you want it in the ebook. It's really a fun book, and I tell tons of stories in it, so it's really good. Also, if you have stuff going on in your life, and instead of like communicating with spirits on a Ouija board, ooh, you can go to soulhealer.com and reach out to me and schedule a private consultation. I would love to work with you. Okay. So, and while you're there, sign up for my newsletter, or there's all of my information down below this screen, all of my social media, BitChute, Rumble, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. Like, subscribe, sign up, give me thumbs up. I would love it if you did that. So if you're listening to this show on some channels or in a rerun and you would like to participate in the show, please go to my YouTube channel. This is the easiest one to access, and it's Just Energy Radio on YouTube. That's 3 words, Just Energy Radio on YouTube. Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central. And click on the live button, and it'll open up a chat window, and you can come and participate. So if you are liking this programming, I would just really appreciate it if you'd like throw me a little something, something. And you can go to soulhealer.com/live, and there's a shopping cart with different amounts that you can put in. Or if you're a PayPal person, you can send it to Rita at soulhealer.com. Especially I do these free readings for you guys. And if you get a good, if the reading's good and it's valuable, I would just love to be validated that way. How's that? Anyway, All right, so I am going to change over and say hi to everybody. And as the request for readings come up, I will take them one by one. And there's already 41 comments, and we're only like 15 minutes in. Yay! Yay! Okay, let's see. I'm going up to the top. Okay, so Master Player Radio and Television. Hi, Master Player. Veronica, hey girl. ERRT Radio. Hi, EERT Radio. Yvonne, hi Yvonne. Bradley, my gentleman. We have Otto in the house. Hi, Otto. Mr. B and friends. Hi, Mr. B. And again, if you want to say hi to me, if you want to ask for a reading, if you want to respond to something that I say or have a comment that you would like for me to see, please do it in caps. There's a lot of conversation that happens in the chat room, and it's hard for me to separate out that you want me to see this versus, you're making a comment to somebody else in the room. Okay, thank you. So ERRT Radio says, I won't ever use one. I don't blame you. Carmen, hey Carmen, how are you? Nina, hi Nina. So Carmen, I'm sorry that you missed the first part, but it is recorded, and so you can check it out in the recording. The recording does show up on Facebook that you can go look at. Ohura, hi girl. So Bradley read Doreen Virtue's book on angels, so that's cool. And then Yvonne says Doreen was good, but then she got all Jesus-y. And Yvonne, I'm just wondering if there was some entity issue with her or her people. I don't know. Okay, so Yvonne is the first person out the gate, and she would like a number 2. So number 2 for Yvonne. And I need to grab a lozenge real quick. Maybe. My hands are really not working today. Come on, just open up. Okay. All right, Yvonne, here's your card for today. So it's interesting. So this card looks really like nice and free flowing, but I just am sensing a lot of frustration in your space. And maybe frustration isn't the right word. I mean, what's coming up inside of me is I'm just tired of it. And you would like for things to be moving and flowing and happening. And this is all I can say for right now. Okay. I think that the world is on pause right now, waiting to see what's going to happen. I don't believe that this is your energy by itself. I believe this is kind of everybody's energy where we just don't know. And so, when actually, I'm going to give a better example. When we're in fear, our energy locks up, we become tight, we can't move, our breathing gets shallow. And I feel like there is a lot of fear on the planet. And so nothing's really moving and nothing's really happening. And so, one, I'm going to say it's not just you. And so for right now, my best guidance I can give you is to breathe and know that this season, this phase will pass, hopefully soon, and the world will turn back on and start moving forward again. We're almost going backwards, but not quite. But there's not really a whole lot of forward movement happening. Okay. Veronica says she would like a reading number 3. Okay, Veronica, reading number 3. Okay, and this is your card for today. So, Veronica, I want to, and I'm going to say, pat you on the back. I feel like, and I'm trying to figure out how to express this. Okay, so I'm assuming everybody knows that we all have, and I'm going to say feelers. You know, we can kind of reach out into what's going on around us or into the future and kind of scope it out a little bit. Might not make the right interpretation, but we can scope it out a little bit. And Veronica, I feel like you are using your feelers. I feel like you are using it to sort through and filter energy that's coming to you versus just being the recipient of anything that comes your way. I feel like it's making life, energy, whatever, be more navigable, and leaving you more in control. So, however you're doing that, which I mean, I know it's definitely a doable thing and that we do it, but good job, because I feel like it's a change for you. It's a new way of interfacing. So, good job. Okay. Okay, Master Player Radio and TV would like number 2 as well. Okay. All right, so I'm just reading down a little bit. So Veronica, you said, oh man, no one has ever said that before. So what are you talking about? I'm just curious. All right, Master Player number 2. Okay, Master Player, this is your card for today. And again, you know, if this reading is working for you, if it makes sense, if it's vibrating with you, resonates with you, you know, if you could say something, you know, that it does, I would really appreciate that. Leave me a little something, something in the tip jar, all those things. Okay, Master Player. Okay, this is kind of weird. And from you, I really would like to get some feedback. So I feel like, okay, so the word that came up was like near miss. Like there has been something going on or something happened and you could have turned right, but for whatever reason you turned left, or you listened to yourself and went left. And now that you look at where excuse me, where you could have been, you're like, ooh. And I feel like there's a sense of relief, even though I feel like your energy is still kind of upset on the inside. But I'm feeling like you feel like you've made a better choice than the other choice you could have made. And it became very apparent that that other choice was a bad choice. So I hope that makes sense. And if it makes sense to you, could you let me know? Because it's kind of a little weird. Okay, well, geez. So I'm kind of like splitting the cards up a little bit, and there were 3 mass cards that came up in a row. Okay, O'Hara says, hello, Dr. Rita. Thanks for the talk. May I have a reading, please? Number 2. Thank you and cheers to you. You sure can, O'Hara. Number 2. Okay, and this is your card for today. So, O'Hara, you know, and I was talking about this a little bit to Yvonne. I feel like there's a lot of energy around you. Um, that has been uncomfortable, you know, but I also get the impression that you're sensitive, so it could just be planetary energy. And I feel like you have been doing a good job at holding your space and not being carried off and sucked off into some weird space. I feel like, you know, everything's not gone and everything's not grounded out, and I don't feel like, you know, you're in like this ooh, zen place, but I feel like you're holding your own. And I, at this point, based on what kind of is going on the planet, feels like an okay thing. You know, during COVID, for example, you know, my goal was to just breathe every day because the energy was just so hard and so dense. Not as hard and as dense as COVID, but it's still challenging. And I think maintaining and being able to hold your space during challenging times and not get caught up in your own thinking or whatever is very honorable. And it's kind of advanced metaphysics. So good job. Okay. All right, ERRT Radio says, I want a reading number 2, please. Thank you, Dr. Rita. You are so welcome in advance. Okay, and here's your card for today. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. So what came up for me, and you know, sometimes very specific little phrases come up, but has there been like this know-it-all person coming around you trying to tell you this is how you should do stuff and this is how things should be and blah 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 blah, and they're pissing you off? Um, So this is my commentary to you. If you know they're a know-it-all person and you know they're going to piss you off, you have the option of kind of taking a step back and not interacting with that person as much, or just owning the fact that that's how they are and move yourself into a more observer place where you can just sit there and watch their game. You know, sometimes it's fun to just watch their game because you getting irritated isn't helping your energy. You know, and my concern is not necessarily the dynamic of what's going on, but you preserving and you maintaining a healthy inner world. You know, so I mean, you have choices about what to do with that person, but I think for you, the question you need to ask yourself is, what do I need to do in order to maintain peace in my inner world? And maybe the universe will give you the answer as to what that would be. Okay? All right. Debbie says, reading please 2. If I have to, Deb. Okay. And that's the card. See, I thought maybe a cat card would come up, but it didn't. Okay, so this is the card that came up. So let's see. Man, all you guys are just all cranky today. Cranky, cranky. You know, so Deb, I feel like when I look at your energy and with this card, I feel like there's that you would like to, or the question you're asking, I guess, is what can I do to create a transition in my life to kind of get out of this shit? You know, it's kind of your word. Well, it would be my word. That's my word for your word. You know, and I'm going to, Yvonne, you're going to get a lot of credit here today. You know, I'm going back to Yvonne's reading. It's like, this is not the time to be making long-term decisions about anything. This is the time to just like work on breathing, work on maintaining a good inner environment, working on, keeping your thoughts uplifted or at least neutral. Um, I mean, for you, Deb, one of the things that I'm feeling is that this energy is creating some discontent in you, and it is causing you to have to think about things that you normally wouldn't, that you would maybe take more for granted, and not really explore. So there is that piece that this would be a good time when those things come up to just kind of look at them, not necessarily make a decision, but own it, check it out, and, use it as the seed for further growth down the road. That's the best way to say it. I hope that makes sense, and let me know if it does or not. Okay. Uh-oh, Veronica wants to know, where's Marco? Marco! I have no idea where Marco is. I know, and I even have good hair tonight and everything. I was getting ready, and I'm like, wow, you have good hair tonight. And Marco's not even here. And RLCC's not here either, and he's usually the other one that gives me the good hair compliment. Hey, Nina, and she would like a reading number 3. All right, and there's your 3. Okay, Nina, this is your card for today. So interesting, Nina. Totally great compliment for you. So I feel like, and I'm going to say last week, that you kind of hit, and I'm going to say like rock bottom of this energy. And now you are really moving forward, and your vibration is raising and increasing. I mean, that's kind of all I got. I just feel like it feels good to you to not be there anymore. And that's the biggest piece, is you're not there anymore. And for everybody that's experiencing kind of this weird energy we're in right now, everything happens in seasons, and you might feel bad today and tomorrow you might feel great, and it just does that. So okay, so Yvonne says, although not in caps, the entity makes sense. Something took her over. And hi, Drusilla, nice to see you. Just listening tonight, low frequency right now. Well, I'm sorry you're having low frequency right now. I like calling it bad brain. Okay. Hey, Carmen, she would like a reading, please, for. Also, my question is, do you believe in past lives? And if so, did I have one? Okay. So I'll answer part of the question. Well, actually, I'll answer both. I'm not going to give you a past life reading because that's not the scope of this show anymore. And so I do believe in past lives. And it's kind of a weird thing because intellectually, I believe in past lives. I've done past life readings for people. I've done past life regressions on myself, and am aware of a number of my past lives. But then there's this other part of my brain that doesn't even make sense. So I don't know. Anyway, and yes, everyone has had a past life, whether they incarnated on this planet, whether they incarnated on another planet, but we've all been around the block before. Okay, Carmen, and I am just shuffling. So this is going to be your last shuffle. And this is your card for today. Okay, so everybody that has kind of funky energy, you all need to go stand around Carmen. So Carmen, I don't know what's going on in your life, but your energy seems just really good and really clear right now. I feel like there was something, and I'm going to say that you were working on, something that you've been trying to figure out. I don't know, but I just feel like there's completion, that you have kind of like connected the dots together, and and are feeling whole within yourself. So good job. Um, yeah, good job. Good job. Okay. So Nina says, I did also listen to Doreen Virtue through the Hay House World Summit. Yeah, I mean, I thought she was a great speaker. I think her angel books were interesting, except the part where she would say, call them in when you're having a bad day. I had a big issue with that. ERRT Radio says this is not the best time of year. Yvonne said, yes, 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 frustrating. It does feel bigger. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to get on Yvonne's case because I keep coming back to you. But if you make a comment like that, and not just Yvonne, if you could put it in caps so I can see. Okay, Veronica says, yes, I have no idea. Oh, here we go. So she said, no one said to avoid being in a low vibration when calling in angels. Thus, my point. Because when you call in your angel, you might be calling in Fred the janitor angel when you really want Archangel Michael to come in. And so that is my take on it, because one of my areas that I speak on and work with is dealing with attached entities. And the way that you get an attached entity is calling a freaking invisible dead person in, which could be an angel. We often can't tell. So anyway, so cool. Master Player Raider says, I am really trying to get back on track on things. Excellent. ERRT Radio said, very interesting. Makes sense to me. Excellent. Horse says, totally accurate. I am doing total fasting, holistic fast, even quilting, phone, and other activities, meditating many hours every day. Thank you again. You are so welcome. So Mr. B and friends said, it sounds like Rita's talking about my show scenario. Don't know. So Horace says, your lipstick is very nice on you. Yeah, that's because Marco's not here to talk about my nice hair. All right, so Debbie said, great reading. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Veronica. Veronica is stepping in for Marco. You have great hair and lipstick. There you are, Marco. Everybody wanted to know where you've been. And I have good hair. Oh, there it goes. Rita's hair looks extra fab. Thank you, Marco. All right, Gary McNeil would like a reading number 2, please. So I'm getting kind of close down to the end of the list. So if you guys are not reading questions, but questions about, ghosts or using oracles or attached entities or anything of that matter, if you want to ask, I'd be happy to answer. All right, so Gary, you got a mask card. And I am going to go with this one as the clearing card. Yeah, because there was a whole bunch of crap under that. So we're not going there. We don't want to deal with all the crap. Okay. So what is being suggested is I just get the impression that, and I just read the energy, I don't read, that's just how it comes in, is just as an energy or as a thought. And what I'm kind of feeling is, this is interesting. Okay, so I get the impression that there's something that you're trying to do, something that you're trying to accomplish. And when you sit there and try to figure out what that is, you're getting the big blue screen of death, the black screen, a whole bunch of crickets. I'm feeling like you're not really getting any answers. And I feel like you're not really getting any answers because you want the thing to be a one and done kind of situation. And I don't feel like the universe is providing you with the insights, the guidance of, okay, you need to do this, and that's the final result. I feel like the universe wants you to go and explore, and it wants you to try different things so that you can feel them, so that you can pick the thing that's right for you. I mean, the universe does that. I remember, I'm doing this work. I was working at a psychic fair, and I'm a very visual person, and my other senses have turned on more the more I've done this work. But at the time, I was just like pretty purely physical or really kinesthetic. Um, and the universe said, doink, here, we're going to block your third eye and we're going to make it so you can't see anything. And it forced me to have to rely on feelings. It forced me to have to navigate the world in a slightly different way. But the biggest thing is that you have this expectation, and maybe that's the right word, expectation, that you should get the answer or it should be clear, and it's not going to be. And so instead of asking for the end of the equation, perhaps what you need to do is making it in smaller things. What should I be doing today? What should I be doing tomorrow? What's my next step? What's the next phase? And take the momentum in smaller pieces to get you through what's going on. I hope that makes sense. I came out kind of choppy, but if you have a follow-up question, please ask. Gabriella, hey girlie. Sorry, I only just joined, so I don't know what each of the readings are, but I was wondering if I could get a reading too. You most certainly can get a reading. Okay, so Gabriella, I only am doing card readings here. You should reach out to me personally. I mean, usually when somebody has health issues, I want way more information. So just go to my webpage or reach out to me on Facebook, and I'll take care of you. Okay, girl? But I will give you a card reading, and I'm going to do one more shuffle, and then I'll just give you a general card reading. Okay. All right. So that's your card. So, and I'm going to kind of talk in generalities here. Well, all right, kind of about your health. But I feel like this whole health thing has got you really kind of scared. And I feel like there's a part of you that you have moved to the point where you are ready to surrender, to come up with a different answer to what's going on, and are willing to do what you need to do in order to move past this hump. And so maybe one of those surrender things is to like reach out to me and we'll talk. Okay? We'll talk. I mean, because that is what I do for a living. All right. But all right, now my computer is being goofy. Gabriella, one of the things that I want to say is being in a place where you're ready to surrender to whatever it is and whatever you're being guided to do and take care of is a really good place, because a lot of the times people just want to fight. They want to fight their bodies. They want to fight what they need to do because they just don't want to do it. And I feel like you're open and ready to doing whatever it takes. And those are the kind of people I want to work with. All right. So Debbie says hi. She needs the reading request in all caps so she can. Okay. Okay. All right. Carmen says, thank you. You were spot on, by the way. I did have something I was working on and feel better about it and feel great, have great energy and happy. Woohoo! We're all going to come around you and absorb your good energy vibe. Okay. So, Gabriella, I answered you again. Send me an email, message me on Facebook, and we'll talk. All right. Of course, says Dr. Rita, do you recommend any ritual or chanting or elements like fire or water for better communication with angels? I don't talk to angels, because again, there are those invisible things that are out there, and I don't. I'm also so not a ritual person. I mean, if grounding and doing energy work is considered a ritual, that would be a ritual I do. But as far as doing anything in particular, like, do I do this in order to have this outcome? Never, ever, ever. I mean, sometimes I might be compelled to go do something in a kind of ritually way, but not as a, if I do this, I will get this result, because I don't believe that that's how it works. I believe that spirit will tell you, hey, you need to do this, and then that's what you should do. And that's how I operate. All right. All right, Gary said, thanks for my reading. Sounds like your reading is right on. Okay, Gary, sometimes I talk and it doesn't make any sense. But again, capital, so I can read it. Because there's this whole conversation about the Mediterranean South Pacific going on. Let's pack our bags on it. Okay, so I'm at the bottom of the list here. Anybody have non-reading questions, or like brain food kind of questions that you would like to ask? Because if not, then I'm gonna go. I rolled the ceiling today and pulled a bunch of wire today. What else did I do today? Swept. Exciting. Anyway. Okay, just kind of hanging out here a little bit. Okay. So Ahura said, thanks again. Ahura, thank you. And thank you for doing caps. Anyway, guys, okay. So Veronica says, will you do something on past lives? I'm not sure, teachings. Ahura said, love you. Bradley says, what about a supplement for smoking? I used to, Nature Sunshine used to make St. John's wort and kudzu, which was their anti-smoking formula, something like that. But St. John's wort, if you are smoking, that will help kind of calm things down. Won't get rid of the urges, but kind of gets rid of some of the nervous anxiety about that. Okay, so Veronica, remind me about doing a class on past lives. So, yeah. I'm gonna have to think about that, Bradley. I only have half a brain right now. Okay. All right. So Drusilla, although not in capitals, and I'm only saying it because I love you and I'm glad that I saw it. Can you talk a little bit about creating protection with empaths? And I sure can. And so people that, okay, so let's start in the beginning. How much time do I got? I got time to do a blurb. So there is us and our auric field, and our auric field is our first line of defense, and it keeps energy away from us. And so people that are empaths, it is suggested that their auric field is porous, and so energy can come in. And that's a great visualization, not necessarily true, but a great visualization. And so one of the protections that I have two protections that I like. So if I'm like in a house and I'm in a room, like I did this in that haunted house that I lived in before I knew anything. So, which kind of I think was a past life thing, but before I knew anything, I like, so the ghost like being in the hallway, and I did not want the ghost in my room, which is why I don't want the ghost in my house. And I would go and I would imagine a candle, and the flame of the candle, like the light, the halo, filled the room, and so that the spirit couldn't come into the space. Well, the same thing works with other people, is that you can fill the space with light, but it needs to be a place that you can isolate. The other one that I really like is, okay, so you all know talk to the hand, where you put your hand out, like talk to the hand. Well, when you do that, when you put your arm fully extended, that really is about the edge of your auric field. And so when you say talk to the hand, it's like you are strengthening and protecting your auric field. Our aura also is supposed to go all the way down, around, and under us. Like, so we're a giant bubble. Many people, and I'm going to say many people, their auric field kind of hovers a few inches above the earth. And so energy can kind of get in under the edges, and so checking your bubble and making sure you're in a bubble, doing the talk to the hand. But I have to tell you, a lot of people go, oh, well, I like make a bubble every morning, but it doesn't work that way. It's like, if you're going into a situation that's going to be uncomfortable, then you need to work on your bubble then. You need to work on your energy then. If you enter into a conversation with someone that's uncomfortable, you need to work on your energy then, because it doesn't just, it's not like set it and forget it and it's going to be there for forever. It's something that needs to be done and monitored and checked on. I mean, it's great that you're doing it every day, but if you find yourself going into a situation, then it's good to, like, I used to go to these meetings, and the people in the meeting, this one guy was a jerk, and he always was mean to me. And so I would always, before I walked in, I would check my space, do my protection, so I could navigate the meeting and not cry. Walmart, same thing. I mean, I always stop, take a nice deep breath, go into Walmart. Going into haunted locations, same thing. Stop, take a breath, work on my protection, and then go in. So it's not something, again, that you set it and forget it. It's something that you have to actively work with and monitor, and you don't have to monitor it all day, but when you find yourself in uncomfortable situations, or especially if you're going into someplace uncomfortable, then to reinforce them, to reimagine them. So, and that actually, see, I should be writing this down, but I'm not. But see, that would make for a really great show to offer some more specific techniques on that. So, all right. So let's see. So there's been a lot of comments. So Yvonne said St. John's Wort, and then she said standard process. But there are a lot of other people that make St. John's Wort that isn't as challenging to find as standard process. All right. Oh, hang on, let me get rid of that. All right. Bubba's swimsuit check. Oh. Okay, and Drusilla said, thanks, I appreciate it. All right, guys, it's a little early, but I think I'm going to call it an evening. So, again, if you would like to set up a private consultation with me, or you want to sign up for the newsletter, or you want to get a copy of my book, Dark Angels, An Insider's Guide to Ghost Spirits and Attached Entity, you can get that all on my website, soulhealer.com. While you're there, if you're enjoying the show and you want to send me a little something, you can go to the live tab and it'll take you to some shopping carts, and you can leave me a little tip, which I'd appreciate. Or if you're more of a PayPal person, you can go send a little something to Rita at soulhealer.com. Again, all of my all of my social media stuff is below. So again, on YouTube, it's Just Energy Radio on YouTube. It is Dr. Rita Live on Facebook. I am Psychic Doc on Rumble, Dr. Rita Louise on BitChute, and Dr. Rita Louise on Twitter. Anyway, I'm going to go. So till next time, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. Be blessed.